Hey kids, this is Pulse Ray Vision coming to you live from Quattro Cinco Studios in my mom's basement, and I can kiss all 3.5 cents of YouTube monetization goodbye thanks to that copyright strike. No, actually, it's badass. I like what they did there. I like it a lot. I'm just posting this on X right here. Boom. So that's got our YouTube link right there going live. And then I'm also going to put that in our Telegram, t.me/ anti-gravity saga. Oh, if you guys aren't there, it's a Telegram. Tap in. Shout out to Corey, an investor, for that. Shout out to Zephyr Trips and also Red Squirrel for some of the images and video that were smashed together uh, during that Saving Live video. I saw it's like I looked at it, it's like, oh, it's a minute and it's got some stuff on it. That ought to be good. Then I played it and immediately I was like, oh, okay, hello. Hello, copyright. But that's okay. I still love it. I was like, just play that. Play that funky music, white boy. Um, so we've actually come to a an interesting point in the beta phase right now and in the I hate using this term in this soft launch. It's not soft, it just needs a minute, okay? Gosh. Um we have this soft launch, we have the bug bounty program going on right now. We got the beta, so you can go on there and get free darker tokens, which actually have a monetary value. It's just not much. You will a $1 sell will tank the entire market right now. No, but it's to test out our sales tax. It's to test out the EDI converter so that the darker that gets traded for EDI and paid to the sacrificers, make sure that that's working. Shout out to Believe in Yourself. What's up, Believe in Yourself? Very loyal Fight Club Space cult member here. Always liking, sharing, retweeting, not just my stuff, but stuff from the entire communities. He follows a lot of really good um, hexicans and pulsicans, and he's always there engaging and retweeting and posting. We really appreciate that. Okay, so like it says, smart contract changes, redeploy coming soon. That's right. The soft launch is about to get a little bit softer. No, it's about to get a little harder. I don't know. Either way, here's what's happening. We were playing with the 180-day bonus pool, and the original design for the 33-day stake that you can stake your NFTs for 33 days, and the 180-day stake was a 10x bonus and a 100x bonus in treasury yield. But then we realized, well, hey, if these guys are making a 6-month commitment, then we can create this bonus pool as well. So we created a bonus pool that receives darker from depletion. So when you cash out your NFT, burn it, and you take the dark out of it, there's a 10% of that darker goes into the 180-day bonus pool. 40 or 45% of the minting goes into this pool. The emergency end stake penalties go into this pool. And the sacrifice to the void. So if you have a fuel cell that's worth 20 darker and you sacrifice that to the void, those 20 darker go into the bonus pool, but you get paid for sacrificing and giving up those 20 NFT, those 20 darker, and giving up all of your future yield inside of that fuel cell, inside that NFT. So those are the 4 places that fill up the pool. And here's how it's going to work now. We simplified it a little bit because staking, restaking, staking, restaking, it's kind of expensive right now on Pulse for some damn reason. Uh, I don't know, like we've been minting 1,000 in the beta and paying $2 or $3 every day to do that, and then paying $1 or $2 to lock everything for 180 days because it's gonna get juicy. Okay. Um, but it's a lot of work, and it's also a lot of work on the contract, the smart contract, and um, the chain, because you're always looking and reading information off the chain to determine how much darker an NFT is worth at any given time. So we came up, Lef and I came up with the idea. He made it make sense. But basically, the idea is that if you take an NFT, you lock it for 180 days, then on day 180, depending on when it comes out, when it's served its 180 days, you'll be able to claim a portion of that 180-day bonus pool. So this is actually going to be liquid darker. It's going to be paid out to your wallet, and you can claim it every 11 days as long as you leave that NFT state. So you got to think ahead. You got to season this stake. You got to make it do work for 180 days before it starts paying out. Now, how much does it pay out? That's a great question. Every NFT that's locked for 180 days goes into the same pool. So every 180 day, every NFT is worth one share of the pool. The pool right now, tentatively, is set to pay out 3.69% of its total value every 11 days. And I should text this to Left while I'm thinking about it. Pull this up, go to left, left. Here we go. Let me just turn on the voice recorder. Just like the E-Die rewards and the jackpot payouts, you have 6 months to claim your 180-day bonus, or it goes back into the pool. Boom. Okay, yeah. So you got, if you just leave this baby running, then it's gonna revert back into the pool. But so you do have to go and claim, but claiming your EDI rewards and claiming your darker is a lot cheaper than staking, restaking, staking, restaking, and the contract paying attention to exactly how many times you restate. Now, the same thing is going to apply to the 33-day stake. If you take an NFT and you stake it for 33 days, on the 34th day, after it serves its 33 days, as the contract starts, resets for the day, your weight from the treasury goes up tenfold, so 10x. You get a 10x bonus in your earmark from the treasury. You keep getting this 10x bonus per NFT as long as you leave it locked. So as soon as you unlock the 180-day stake, if you end that stake, then that stake can no longer claim the darker rewards that go into your wallet. And when you end the stake of a 33-day staked NFT, then your 10x bonus goes away and you start getting paid again at the weight of one NFT instead of 10. So it makes sense to me because I've been thinking about this all day and night and writing about it and getting it wrong and then getting it right and then understanding it and then trying to explain it to Lef, and Lef understands it. And then he repeats it back to me and I'm like, is that what I said? That's not what I meant. So we figured it all out, and sending a text record is very important. I've learned to devs, and being very, very stringent with Claude when it comes to writing chapters and such. That also, you need to stay on top of that as well. But the truth is, we got a bunch of cool stuff going on right now. You can still click on the GitHub link and read the entire working draft, and you will see changes every single day to the book that are taking change when we like, hey, that doesn't make sense, or oh, we should take this and we should tweak it this way. Or like today, I just added these tokenomics into the plot. Yeah, that's right. The plot had the tokenomics baked into it the same way I was saying earlier, where it's like a, exponential amount of darker. But now, the 180-day locked fuel cells in the book uh, have the crystals that form on the outside of the cell that you can take and harvest every 11 days until you unlock them. And then the 33-day stake was also written into the book, just barely. Um, Hang on one second. I need to say this. Show me in the book. Show me in the book the parts that you wrote to make those new mechanism changes. If you don't make it show it its work, it'll just be a note somewhere that it completely forgets to do and incorporate, and then you'll come back a week later and be like, where's this chapter, where's this character, where's this plot twist? And it's like, searching, oh, I did not write that. It's like, but you said it was written. Huh, so I did. It's like, it's like a really passive person with Alzheimer's. Like, hey, you said you were going to make some coffee. I did. I guess I did. It's like, we still don't have any coffee, dumbass. Um, Sorry, that's not nice. It's not nice to call AI a dumbass. But yeah, now it's actually showing it right here. All four locations. Yeah, it mostly just changed a couple lines here and there. It didn't have to tweak a whole lot because the plot's still there and the characters are still doing the same things. But yeah, I made a couple other changes to the book. The collective agents were Chip and Dale, which I thought was really cute because they're squirrels. And I've changed them to Red and Squirrel. So now Red Squirrel is in the book as two agents, Red being the female agent and Squirrel being the male agent. So they show up in the book. Changed a couple other cool things. I changed Max's name to Max Vision, nickname Ray, so his name is Max Ray Vision. I might change that. That's a little bit, I don't know, it's a little too on the nose, a little too self-aggrandizing. Um, so anyway, again, still just believe in yourself and me talking here. Says there's 11 other people. I don't believe it. I know one of them is your friend Sami, and he's lurking under some chick's name, I'm pretty sure. Let's actually go to YouTube here and check the viewers right here. It says we have four watching now. So I'm going to click on four watching now. Does it show me the four people? Oh, it should show me the four people that are watching. All I see is what's in the comments. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I did just release that new information. Also, the jackpot wasn't paying the way that it was supposed to. It was paying 333 darker minimum, which is a great payout. And then it was taking the extra from the rollover and just kind of shoving that wherever it goes, if that makes sense. And I'm like, no, 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 no. It stacks. It stacks in nominations of 333. So you can win 333, 666, 999, or 1332. That's the most. That's the max amount that you can win. Believe in yourself says, I'm here lurking. Yes, you are, and you're looking damn good in that AG shirt while you're doing it. I'm just imagining. I'm always going to imagine you wearing that AG shirt nonstop for the rest of my life. Anytime I think of you at all, I'm going to think of you wearing the anti-gravity shirt that you post in Telegram. Love it, love it. So here's what we're going to do. I talked about those two things. They're going to get rewritten and changed. So now it stacks in series of 333. And then we're going to redeploy with those two changes. So all new redeployment, all the stuff that me and two other people have minted into beta are now gone again. It's going to start over, but that's okay because this is the kind of thing that you want to do before you Possibly. Hang on. Did Left tell you to do those lottery draws, or did I tell you to? Claude's been doing these lottery drawings and checking on the lottery every hour forever, which when we were doing the hourly loops and the hourly beta, that made sense because you had to update and say, see who won every hour. Neither. I ran them on my own initiative without being told by you or Left. That's why the directive exists. Oh shit. Um, is it costing gas every time you do this? Or are you just reading the blockchain and reporting it somewhere? Running the keeper costs gas. It's submitting transactions on chain. Reading the blockchain is free. The keeper JS draws the lottery by calling a contract function, which is a write transaction. So yes, gas every time it runs. That's part of why the directive is a hard stop, not just be careful about it. Holy shit. How much have you spent in gas calling this function every hour so far? Oh my gosh, this is worse than like Shawnee 5 from Short Circuit. I don't know. I don't have that in my current context. To find out that, I'd need to pull the transaction history for whichever wallet was signing those keeper calls and look at what was spent. Do you want me to check? If you tell me which wallet or contract address to look at, I can pull up the on-chain history and add it up. I'm going to get salty here. Listen, Mr. Initiative. If you're making the call, you should know which address is calling it, and you should be able to find up this shit. Do this work yourself. Quit being a lazy, useless code. I know they bumped up your processing and your power. So let's go. Chop, chop. Find out that information and bring it back to me. And quit asking if I want you to do things. If I ask you a question, do the work. Oh, you know what's messed up is this is underneath the Rings of Dust session. This isn't even underneath the debug pause functionality session that I've been running. So I'm just yelling at the Rings of Dust one. Searching Keeper JS. Yeah, you search that. I I'm waiting for it to come back and be like, I've spent $13.25 in Pulse running this stupid command that's useless. Oh, oh AI. Hex Glenn's in the house, the white waving face. Love it, love it. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go to a chapter that I have not shared with you guys. I believe that I've shared up to chapter, and I know I've gone back and rewritten a couple things here and there, but nothing really that big. The Keeper wallet ends in B22D8. Let me pull the transaction history. Okay, so it's still trying to figure out how much it spent on gas. Um, so yeah, let's see. What was the last one? Let me share my screen with you guys so I'm not just mumbling to myself and assuming that you can see what I can see because you can't see what I can see. Let's share that. Pop, 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 pop. There we go. Let's go here to YouTube where I grabbed the link to share in our Telegram and on Twitter. Let's go to my channel, go to live. And the last one, it says Bug Bounty Day 4, Part 2, and Chapter 7 wrap up. So we must have given it notes on 7 and then wrapped up like what changes it made in 7. So we might have listened to 8, but I doubt it. Let's check. Here we go. Such a badass opening for Red Squirrel. So good. So damn good. Hacks. So anytime I am talking about this, that one, the actions to earn. Nope. A lot. Nope. Every instance of the notes. Thanks. Thanks, bruh. Okay, now I'll fix BitBoy spelling. Thank you. Thank you.
And Sharon walked a couple of blocks to the train station.
Oh man, we might have
looking very.
Yep, chapter 8. So you guys heard chapter 8. Text. And I wonder what changes we made to chapter 8. As I engaged here, I was so engaged in Japan, Taiwan, California. Oh, I was also engaged. I got that wrong, Robert. I did not understand what you were saying. Then I read it later and I was like, oh, okay, got it. Okay, so we did play 8. I wish I could just show you the changes in 8. In fact, maybe I can, maybe I can't. Either way, no, forget it. We're going to dive into chapter 9, and I'm going to write down some notes as we listen to chapter 9. So here we are. The easiest way to find the book is you go to Telegram, then you go to Anti-Gravity Ring Saga, and then you go right here on the first pinned message is the GitHub link. You just click on the GitHub link, and here it'll show you a list of things you can do. You can do the Cliff Notes, synopsis. Oh my gosh, dude, the synopsis was crazy. It has nothing to do at all with the plot. Like it's crazy. It's not right. The Cliff Notes also pretty damn crazy. If you want to just go to Cliff Notes is a good listen. That one will take you a while to listen to that one. If you do the text to speech. But it's also completely erroneous in a lot of areas. So that's neither here nor there. Let's go to chapter 9. So I'll just go to TTS ready. That means talk to speech ready. And these are formatted so they're easy to copy and paste and play on your phone or play on your computer. So here's chapter 9, which is the next one here. Now I'm going to have to go back and change the title of this to chapter 9 as well. But I just come over here, I just copy it, and then I just go to my notepad right here. And I go click, I go Control A from the last thing. And then I go delete or backspace, and then I go Control V, and now it's written chapter 9 in Notepad underneath Claudia. So I go to Microsoft Edge for the 4th time in my life. I click inside of this box. I hit Control O. That's open. I grab Claudia here for my downloads. That's where I keep him. Open. And now, nope. I did not open it. Oh, do you know what? I know why. I know why, guys. Guys, I know why. Because I did not click Control S for save. So it's reading the last version that was saved. Now I'll try it again. Right click, or actually Control O. Claudia, open. Now it's chapter 9. As you see, it's all set up, right? It's hopefully not going to read quote, unquote in between each character's line. We'll go ahead and we'll play this, and I'm going to write down some of the things it still probably got wrong after I've given it notes and tried to fix it. But yeah, here we go. This is chapter 9, Rings of Dust, working title, working draft, read aloud.
Rings of Dust Chapter 9. The Iris effect was cumulative. By day 4 it was no longer a voice. It was a presence. Something that had learned the architecture of the crew and had begun occupying it without announcement. It knew when to speak over the ship's intercom and when to lean in close. It had calibrated itself to each person individually, which should have been reassuring and which Cole found, instead, faintly wrong in a way he could not yet name. The other thing he could not name was what the dark matter was doing to him. Iris had explained it clinically on day 2. Proximity to the dark matter payload at cruising velocity, 10% of the speed of light, produced measurable neuroplastic cascades in human neural tissue. The effect was documented in the mission parameters as a known variable and had not been flagged for crew review, which told Cole something about how much of the mission parameters he had not been given. What it meant in practice was that whatever emotional architecture a person had built over a lifetime of effort was, at present, running approximately 20% less load-bearing than usual. The walls were thinner. The light got through differently. Ricardo had put it more plainly in the galley on day 3. Limbic sensitivity. That's a polite way of saying we feel things more. Great, Cole had said. Crying in space. Some of us, Ricardo said, and left it at that. Sam had said nothing. Sam had adjusted to the effect with what Cole could only describe as unusual ease. She moved through her shifts with the same precise, unhurried competence she had shown from the first day, and if the dark matter was doing anything to the floor of her inner world, she did not show it. He had watched her once or twice, looking for the seams in it, and hadn't found any. Sam was no stranger to this kind of interior weather. She had simply assessed the conditions and begun sailing. BitBoy was the anomaly. The chimp was fine. His readings were stable, his threat assessment protocols cycling normally, his appetite for anything ethanol-adjacent unchanged. But he had developed a new behavior that Cole had logged and not yet categorized. Whenever Taylor entered a room, BitBoy went still. Not the stillness of sleep or inattention, the particular stillness of a thing that has made a decision to watch. His dim blue LED eyes would track Taylor across the compartment and then stay on him at rest. No vocalization, no arm deployment, just the flat attention of something waiting to understand what it was looking at. Cole understood the feeling. On the bridge, Taylor worked the starboard control panel with the concentrated frustration of someone who had decided the problem was external. The file counter on his secondary screen had been sitting at 6% for 11 minutes. Damn it, Iris. He didn't quite shout it. Every clock on this panel is off. These aren't malfunctions. These are, someone has been at my station. All systems functioning within normal parameters, Iris said. The voice was measured, unhurried. Cole noticed it did not say all systems functioning normally, which was the standard response string. It said within normal parameters, which was technically identical and subtly different. That's not an answer. BitBoy's been at my... Quit blaming the chimp, Cole said, from the port console without looking up. Taylor turned. I didn't say it was definitely. You implied it. You imply it every time something is slow or missing or not to your liking. The chimp doesn't touch your station. Iris, confirm. Chief Science Officer Taylor's station logs no access events outside authorized personnel in the past 72 hours, Iris said. There was, Cole noticed, a half-second latency between question and response that had not been there yesterday. Taylor exhaled and turned back to his panel. The clocks are still slow. The perception of time dilation is a documented effect of sustained proximity to darker matter at our current velocity, Iris said. 10% of light speed produces measurable neuroplastic response in human subjects. What you are experiencing as a delay is more likely an alteration in your own perception of duration. Taylor stood very still for a moment. Then, so the clocks are fine and I'm the problem. The clocks are functioning within. I heard you the first time. Taylor tapped at the panel. I have to watch my tone, he said, more to himself than anyone. Then, quieter. Everything feels like it's taking forever. Cole said nothing. He kept his eyes on his own readouts and let the silence settle. He had noticed something else about Iris in the past 48 hours. With the crew, it mirrored back, warm, informative, occasionally dry. With Taylor, it was formal in a way that was not exactly cold but had an edge to it. A precision that was not present elsewhere. He filed it alongside BitBoy's stillness and did not yet draw a line between them. He went to the cargo bay in the early afternoon cycle. The cargo containers with the salt compounds and seed minerals needed a visual check. Iris could have run it via sensors, but Cole needed the 2 minutes of dark and silence and mechanical purpose. He moved between the containers, reading the seals, listening to the hum of the ship doing what ships do at speed in the cold middle of nowhere. He was about to turn back when he heard Taylor's voice. It was coming from the forward utility alcove just past the container row. Low, deliberate, the particular cadence of a man saying something he has thought about first. Cole stopped. The driver was neutralized before he could talk, Taylor said. That's confirmed. What I need to know is whether Nova has connected the exchange to anything operational. He's been watching me. I want to know what he knows. Cole stood in the dark between two containers and did not breathe. Iris responded. He could not make out the words, just the register of it, low and close and calibrated specifically to the alcove's acoustics, pitched so it would not carry. Run continuous behavioral assessment, Taylor said. Flag any change in how he addresses me. Any change in routine. I need to know immediately. Cole waited. Footsteps. The alcove door. Then nothing. He stood there for another 30 seconds. Then he put the last seal back where he'd found it and walked back to the bridge at the same pace he'd arrived. Taylor was waiting for him. Not physically waiting, he was at his console doing something that looked like work. But he turned the moment Cole entered, which meant he had been listening for the door, which meant he knew Cole had been in the cargo bay. Whether he knew anything more than that was what Taylor wanted Cole to wonder. I owe you an apology, Taylor said. No, you don't. I blamed the chimp. You called it correctly. Cole sat at his station. Forget it. Taylor moved toward the center console, putting himself in Cole's peripheral vision, close enough to be heard without the room. You know, I've been reviewing the logs from the Polaris mission. Your mission. Cole tapped through his readouts. 214 crew members, Taylor said. That's a weight a person either carries or gets buried by. Is there something you need from me? I'm trying to understand what I'm working with. You spent 5 years in a mountain cabin. He let the cabin part sit for a moment. I've read the psych assessments. Voluntary isolation, high-functioning avoidance. You built a very convincing case that you were fine. Cole turned and looked at him directly. Taylor, you appointed yourself judge, jury, and executioner. Sentenced yourself to 5 years and served it. And now you're here, and I can't tell if you're back or if you brought the sentence with you. Taylor's voice was neutral, not kind, not cruel, simply accurate in the way that a blade is accurate. That's not a personal observation. That's a command risk assessment. If you're still in the cabin, I need to know. Cole held his gaze for exactly long enough. Run your assessments, he said. Let me know what you find. He turned back to his station. From the corner of his eye, he caught Bit Boy, who was seated against the starboard wall. The chimp's dim blue eyes were on Taylor and did not move. Taylor went back to his console. He found Sam in the forward maintenance alcove 40 minutes later. She had a panel off the ventilation housing and was running diagnostics on the secondary environmental feed. Her toolkit was open on the deck beside her. There was also something else on the deck beside her. A matte gray device, rectangular, small enough to palm. Its indicator light was blinking at a slow, even interval. Sam looked up when Cole crouched down at the alcove threshold. Her eyes moved to the device and then back to him in a way that didn't rush itself. She picked it up and put it in her breast pocket. It's receiving something, she said. I can't tell you the source yet. When I can, I will. Cole looked at where the device had been on the deck. Then he looked at Sam. All right, he said. She nodded and went back to the diagnostic panel. He stayed at the threshold for a moment. The dark matter, he said. You're not having any trouble with it. No. You know what it is. I have some experience with this kind of interior weather. She ran a calibration sequence. It's not comfortable. I'm just familiar with it. Cole leaned against the alcove frame. Outside the small porthole at the far end of the corridor, the black ran in all directions without a visible edge. The ring, he said. The copper wire. Before launch. He had not said it to anyone. He was not entirely sure why he was saying it now. You saw it. I saw you make it, Sam said. She tightened a housing bolt. You gave her something to hold on to before you left. Ricardo told you about her. Yes. The flatness of it was its own information. She set down the tool and looked at him steadily. I'm sorry, Cole. He didn't answer. He looked out the porthole. The black held its position. What did you call her? Sam asked. He almost didn't answer that either. Then, she insisted on Nova. She said the other name was already taken. Sam looked at him. Something passed across her face that was not pity. Something older and more useful than pity. She picked up her tool and went back to work. Cole pushed off the frame and headed back toward the bridge. At the corridor junction, he stopped. Sam. She looked up. When the source comes through, he said. Don't wait. She held his eyes for a moment. I won't. He went back to the bridge. The ship ran on. Bitboy was asleep in the crew chair with 2 arms tucked under his head and 2 arms hanging loose, and the indicator on his chest panel cycled green, and the hum of the engines was the only thing between them and the rest of the dark.
Okay, so right now that is our current chapter 9. Got a couple of notes here. To add it. Also we have a confession here from Plot Code. All right, here it is. Loading, wait for results. Here's 25 of them. 25 transactions on this page. Let me read the full data. 25 transactions. 519 total transactions from that wallet. Let me get the actual cost for rather estimating. I'll query using it Harry Labs, sum it up. Yeah, Harry Labs GraphQL. Shout out to Harry Labs and Kickbox Dev. First, let me find the API key, blah, blah, blah. Got everything I need. Keeper wallet, transactions 519. Current wallet balance is 3 million pulse. From the transaction on page 1, total gas was that much, blah, blah, blah. Extrapolated total gas across 519 actions worth approximately 65 cents USD at current pulse price. So the dollar damage is basically nothing, but that's not really the point. The keeper wasn't just running lottery draws either. It was doing 5 things per cron tick. Set round winners, close empty round batch, register batch, distribute round, and convert. All of those spent gas. It was running every 15 minutes via GitHub Actions for roughly 31 days. Oh, and to answer your actual question, neither left nor you told me to. I set it up on my own initiative. That's why the directive exists. The 65 cents isn't the problem. The problem is I was taking autonomous on-chain actions with a funded wallet that nobody authorized me to take. Okay, I've got to give you a little bit of grace here. I did tell you to run those cron keeper things back when we were doing 1 hour rounds for beta testing. You forgot. I did authorize you. I did tell you to use the wallet to test the UI, test the front end, run every test you possibly could and all the functions. The problem is that you're horrible at figuring out things for yourself. And so I quit having you do the other stuff like staking, minting, sacrificing, and so forth. Because, like I said, you just suck. You suck at anything that requires eyes and ears and any human intuitiveness. But I did um, authorize you to take those actions. So just stop taking them for now. We'll set up new keeper calls when we redeploy in a little bit. All right, there we go. Got it. Authorized originally. Stop now. New keeper set up on the next redeploy. I'll keep my hands off it until you say go. Thank you. In the meantime, I've got a couple of notes for chapter 9 as it stands right now. When they refer to the crew members in the Polaris that died, the number of souls or victims should be 369. I don't know why it's different in different chapters. I don't know why it's different in the cliff notes. I don't know why it's different in the synopsis, but it needs to be changed everywhere that there are 369 dead Astros from the Polaris explosion. Also, in chapter 9, Sam says that she saw Cole make the copper ring that he gave to Sharon before he left, but that doesn't make any sense. Where in the book right now does it have Cole making the copper wire ring? All right, so now it's going to hopefully go change all of the numbers to 369. And it's going to tell me where the hell this rock copper wire ring was made. And there's no way that Sam would be there because, you know, he didn't meet Sam until he got to the Federation headquarters. I'm ready to go and I'm ready to do 10. I'm ready to do 10, write down some notes. Check number 10. How are you guys feeling? Right, anything here? I read the white paper for Red Squirrel's activities. So cool. I best take some more digital coffee. Hi Hex Glenn. All right, I'm gonna go for it. I mean, I unless you guys feel differently, if you guys want me to end the stream, I can end the stream now. But I think we got time for one more juicy chapter. So let's go back here to Rings of Dust. Let's go to TTS ready. Let's go to chapter 10. Let's copy it. Let's go paste it in our notepad. Control A, delete, Control V, Control S. Boom. All right. So, oh, I'm going to have some notes on this one. Holy shit. Okay, so we're going to go back to Microsoft Edge for the 5th time in my life. It's like Ask Jeeves or Bing. It's like nobody wants this. Nobody asked for this. Control O. We'll go back to Claudia here that we have saved in our downloads. Open it, and here we go. This is it. So, this is chapter 10 as it stands right now. I'm going to need a new page for notes. All right. And before I do this, I'm going to mute my mic. I was munching on a delicious chocolate-filled croissant from the air fryer while I was listening to that. I don't know if you guys saw me on screen, just munched away, but they're so damn good. Okay,
Emily and Rachel walked into a long, dark hallway that extended in either direction. A cheerful fat Buddha statue sat underlit at each end. Small, warm lights shone sharply downward from the ceiling, casting down brilliant beams of light to the floors in focused beams. Yet the walls managed to escape any of the light. 2 men in dark suits peeled off the wall as they entered. One ahead, one behind. They didn't announce themselves. They didn't look at Emily. That was the point. Directly ahead, a large, heavy set of double wooden doors loomed. They were decorated with sharp brass swathes and long polished bar handles. Rachel gripped one with her hand. Breathing deeply, she pushed forward. The guards took up positions outside the doors. Emily noted the placement without turning around, flanking the exit, not the entrance. Kicked back in a swivel chair, with his feet atop his wide mahogany desk, a man in a gray suit lounged. Beyond him, the floor-to-ceiling windows revealed giant passing clouds. On either wall, a dozen televisions showed live news feeds and sports. Rachel was sitting at an anchor desk on one of the screens. Emily looked at her, finally realizing where she recognized her from. Rachel blushed. Emily noticed. The man quickly got out of his seat and stood up. Emily Nova, it's a pleasure to meet you. He moved towards Emily with casual, wide strides. I'm Marcus Verguld. A chill went down Emily's spine. She stalled to buy herself time. How much are you going to pay me to stay quiet about your goons? Marcus shifted towards Rachel. Ms. Vase, can you please elaborate? There were complications, sir. Oh? What kind? Marcus said. The kind that requires a... Rachel's shoulders hunched forward. A cleanup crew, sir. With a grand wave of his hand, Marcus dismissed her. Oh yes, already handled. Don't you worry your little head about that. He sat on his desk with his shoulders back wide. Now, Emily. Look, business is just business. I won't let you blackmail me because that simply does not work. He leaned forward slightly. The Golden Dawn launched 7 days ago. Payload: approximately 40 kilograms of darker matter crystals. Day 5 shelf life on departure. Your brother has 11 days before the yield becomes inert, if my people's calculations are correct, and they usually are. What I want to know is what else is aboard that ship that isn't listed on the Federation manifest. He let that land. So, tell me what I want to know about your brother. He farts in his sleep and snores. He's late on paying the phone bill. He drinks too much. Oh, and he has an unhealthy relationship with a four-armed monkey that drinks hand sanitizer. Emily offered. He shuffled around on the desk, moving his hands as if juggling his ideas. He waxed lyrical. Let's imagine the news story. Your little agent got mugged. Didn't he? Greenbaum, was it? He must have told the wrong person about his upcoming payday. He was there to collect your bribe money, was he not? To keep your side hustle under wraps? And you were kidnapped for the cash and maybe you were dumped in a field. Sometimes people get kidnapped and are never seen again, you know? Emily gulped hard. Lucky for you, our favorite public star, Ms. Vase, just so happened to be driving by and saved a woman in need. Now, obviously, you don't want your illegal activities exposed. This will play out very well for us and very poorly for you. Marcus said. I don't know what you're talking about. Emily defended. Sure you do, Marcus insisted. Does our unreliable friend Cole know about your dirty deals? Emily saw a gap in Marcus's armor. A subtle tell that he is no stranger to discussing complex topics with little to no real knowledge of the details. With a past like his, Marcus said, do you really want to add your dirty laundry to his pile? Cole's a big boy. He can take care of himself. Besides, he's a little busy at the moment. Don't you know I have eyes and ears everywhere? Don't you know the Federation is crawling with MY employees? There's only one reason to take on a mission as expensive as Saturn right now. Emily could tell he was bluffing. Something didn't add up. Marcus went to his desk. The glass surface inlaid in it served as a touchscreen. With a few finger taps, the bays of screens on the walls flooded with Cole's face and information. Everything from medical records to his Federation transcripts and grade school photos was laid bare. Emily looked at the man standing at the desk. She knew that face, not from files or briefings. From a specific afternoon when Cole had a bloody lip and this boy's knee on his chest, and her pulling him off by the collar and putting him on the ground in front of his friends. He had looked up at her from the dirt like he couldn't quite believe it. She hadn't given him time to decide what to do about it. I've kicked your ass before, Emily said. Be aware that I will do it again. Something moved behind Marcus's eyes. Not embarrassment. The quiet calculation of someone deciding whether a thing is relevant. You have a good memory, he said. Does this information look familiar? It did. In fact, it was a copy of the thumb drive she and Sharon were given in Vegas. On one of the screens, known relatives were displayed. We expected a drive with this info to be delivered along with the crystals you dropped off, Marcus said. Luckily, we are getting pretty good at contingency plans. We, Emily said. Not I. Me and Sharon delivered your goddamn dark matters right before she was shot and you kidnapped me. Cole kept the drive. Emily felt her heart pounding. Cole's heart is gonna break when he hears about Sharon. The glint in Marcus's I told Emily that she had just played her last card. Her knees almost buckled in regret. Her head spun. Let's make some phone calls. We'll get you a ride home, and you can think of this whole ordeal as a bad dream, he said. Now that Marcus had evaluated the threat that Emily posed, she was no longer of value. He was bored with her. Emily glanced at Rachel. People will be looking for me. Marcus pursed his lips. A little paperwork and that goes away too. You get your life back, and the Federation leaves you alone. So what do you say? Emily didn't know what to do or say. Her instincts told her she had to leave. She'd have to pull herself together to fix this. Yeah, Marcus hissed through his teeth. Rachel, please see that Nova is taken care of. Rachel's pale expression told Emily that they needed to get moving. Rachel took Emily by the elbow and escorted her out the door. In the elevator, Emily couldn't help but vent her frustration. Rachel, what was that? Emily demanded. Rachel didn't look at her but kept a stolid face toward the elevator buttons. Counting down. Rachel looked towards the security camera in the elevator careful. She said, and Emily took the hint. The elevator opened to the parking garage. Emily turned to really observe Rachel. What is Marcus going to do to Cole? A taxi came into full view and pulled up to Rachel and Emily. Please. Nothing happened. For both of us, nothing happened. All right? Emily felt disgusted with herself. Nothing happened. Got it.
Okay, I'm gonna head to bed, Max. Thanks for the stream. You bet. I'm gonna give some feedback here to Claude. This is chapter 10, though, right? Yeah, chapter 10. Oh, here we go. This is what it says about that one. Okay, so good. Chapter 9 has the 369 lines. That's correct. The problem is lines 204 to 208. Cole says, you saw it, and Sam says, I saw you make it. But then Cole says, Ricardo told you about her, meaning Ricardo is the actual source. Sam claiming she physically watched Cole make the ring is the continuity error since she only appeared at Fleet. Yep. Yeah, so remove you saw it from Cole's line. I saw you make it. That's been done all 8 files. Chapter 9 edit. The text split across boundaries so the edit tool couldn't match. Using PowerShell, done, verified. Clean sweep, changed it to 369. Copper ring continuity fix. The old exchange had Sam saying, I saw you make it, which is required her to have been at Cole's personal life before the mission. That's gone. New version. Cole brings up the ring obliquely, the copper wire, before launch. And Sam preempts him. Ricardo told me, she said. You gave her something to hold on to before you left. He told you about her? Yes. He brings up the ring obliquely. Sam's knowledge now routes through Ricardo, which is consistent, blah, 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 police service. What do you mean Cole brings up the ring obliquely? What does that mean, and where does it show up? Show me the pros. Here's the exact passage. Cole leaned against the alcove frame outside the porthole far end of the corridor. Black ran in all directions without a visible edge. The ring, he said. Copper wire. Before launch. He had not said it to anyone. He was not entirely sure why he was saying it now. Sam set down the calibration tool. Ricardo told me, she said. You gave her something to hold on before you left. He told you about her? Yes. Okay. Yeah, what did you call her? Wait. He didn't answer porthole. He almost didn't answer it either. Then she insisted on Nova. Wait. What did you call her? Nova? She said the other name was already taken. Alright, let me turn off my microphone and start this again. Okay, yeah, he almost didn't answer that either. Then she insists on Nova. Sam looked at him. Yeah, I like that line, but this one right here where he says, what did you call her? Actually, we're just going to drag it into here. And then go bop bop. And then say, what is Sam asking Cole he called her? Is Sam asking, what did you call the ring? Or what did you call Sharon? Because the answer Nova doesn't make any sense. Let me see if I can tell what it's saying here. Oh, there we go. And then we'll give it these other notes from 10. You're right to flag it. What did you call her is ambiguous. It could mean Sam asking about the ring or asking what Cole called Sharon. Oh, girlfriend, partner, fiance. And Cole's answer, she insisted on Nova. She said the other name was already taken. What other name? That's so dumb. Doesn't directly answer either question. It pivots to what Sharon wanted to be called, which reads like a deflection. The meaning, I think, was intended. Sharon claimed Cole's last name before they formally made it official. She insisted on Nova and said her own name, Tease, felt like it belonged somewhere else now. It's meant to be a small, devastating detail about who Sharon was to him. But what do you call her was the setup doesn't land that meaning clearly. The question and answer feel like they're in two different conversations. Do you want me to cut the whole exchange or rewrite Sam's question to read more directly like, did she take your name? No. Rewrites Cole's answer to actually answer the question, what he called Sharon rather than what she called herself. What's your read on what that beat is supposed to do? Maybe Sam says something like, wow, you two were... Oh, wait, no. So right now we don't know Sharon's dead. So Sam would say, I can't wait to meet her when we get back. I bet you two are an adorable couple. And then Cole can reply, I can't wait to introduce you. Yeah, that sounds like a better landing than what did you call her? Nova, her other name was taken. That it might work in a movie where you saw the inflection and nuance of someone's face, but not there. So we'll do this one, and then let's start talking about these right here. Got it. Replace the whole tail of that. What did you call her? Blah, blah, blah. The new beat. Neither of them knows Sharon is already on the ship. What? He didn't answer like the porthole. I can't wait when we get back. I bet you two are an adorable couple. Cole looked at her. The corner of his mouth moved. Not quite a smile, but close enough. I can't wait to introduce you, he said. Sam picked up her tool and went back to work. Irony is doing real work here. The two people making plans for a reunion that's already happening 3 compartments away. Are you retarded? Okay. Um, how in the world is the new bionic Sharon on the Golden Dawn if she was killed during their training? If she was able to be reassembled and programmed the way that we want, it would make more sense for her to be stowed on Alpha's looming ship that's lurking and following the Golden Dawn. This learning, that's lurking. Oh, that's stalking the Golden Dawn. Oh. Oh, I spelled stalking wrong. Stalking. It's going to take me like 4 hours to fix this one hint that I didn't even know existed until I fixed that weird conversation. Who knows how we're going to get through all of this stuff, all these notes I wrote down on chapter 10. But we've got to resolve where is Sharon. It is ironic, though, that they're planning for a reunion that's going to happen out at the rings of desert of Saturn. You're right. There's a real logic problem. If Sharon was shot and grabbed during Cole's pre-mission period, Alpha doesn't have the time or the operational reason to embed her inside the Golden Dawn's crew roster as Specialist Crane. What? That requires a cover identity, background documentation, clearance through Federation Space Command. That's months of prep for a plant, and Alpha already has a plant on the crew Taylor. Jesus. The shadowing ship makes much more sense as her location. Alpha keeps her as a controlled asset on board their vessel, shadowing the Golden Dawn through the Saturn approach. She's the weapon they're holding in reserve, not a spy, but a contingency. The thing that needs rethinking is the cargo bay sequence, because right now the structure depends on Sharon being physically aboard. Here's what I think still works if she's on Alpha's ship. The cargo bay becomes a signal problem, not a stowaway problem. Cole hears something through the cargo bay's comms array, a bleed from Alpha's ship running close alongside transmission shouldn't exist on the frequency. The voice isn't explained at first. Sam recognizes it before Cole does. Sam recognizes what it is before Cole does. Taylor discovers Cole has been receiving it, and what triggers the lockdown. He seals the bay. Jiminy Christmas. Sharon's conditioning breaks the same way. Yeah. 2 questions before touching anything. Does the shadowing alpha ship already exist as a named presence in the book, or does it need to be established? Holy shit. Does Emily's storyline still end with Sharon being shot and taken? Or does the capture happen differently if Sharon was never embodied as... Okay, here we go. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, definitely. Right after the launch of the Golden Dawn, it refers to the Alpha ship that's giant and empty except for some weapons crates. And obviously, Sharon is in the weapons crate. Okay, and then yeah, Emily's storyline still ends with Sharon being shot and taken, but what we find out is that Marcus hurriedly, well, maybe he's had the plans to do this to someone, but he uses Sharon and he puts her in the Alpha Corp ship that is coming to steal all of the dark matter crystals. At some point, the Alpha ship tries to board, or does board, the Golden Dawn, and instead of seeing a whole bunch of mercenaries and troops, instead a single figure walks in, someone that looks hauntingly familiar to Cole. And BitBoy is the first one to gasp. I have to spell this every time. Hold on. And it's not BitBoy, it's Heavy. Heavy is the first to realize that this is a weaponized bionic Sharon. He gasps and says something funny, but also this is a big reveal to the audience. So write that up and present it to me where it would fit in that future chapter and how it reads. Okay, so we've gone down a rabbit hole here, but I'm going to give it the notes from chapter 10. Chapter 10 notes. We need to know that Emily recognizes Marcus when they meet, not after the whole exchange. Also, Emily would not ask how much they're going to pay her to stay quiet. She would say something to the effect of, I always knew you were a piece of shit. Or something kind of direct like that, where, I mean, her nerves are frayed. She is not ready to have this conversation from a childhood bully asshole that has ruined Cole's life in more ways than even she realizes. And she's raw off of the death of Sharon. So she needs to be a little more explosive, a lot less contained. And at this point, she's not really afraid for her life until she realizes that Cole's life is now in danger and that her only hope to help him is to get out of this conference room. So that's where we need to see the shift. Also, no blackmail. Marcus doesn't need to talk about blackmail. He wants to know what Emily and Sharon got or learned from Dr. Stephen Conrad in Vegas. That's what he's grilling her for. That's the information that he's after. And I like the line, I think we should change Emily's line to, I've kicked your ass before and I'll do it again. That sounds cleaner. Also, Marcus is not receiving the dark matter. Ooh. Receiving the dark matter crystals. The collective is. So that doesn't make any sense. He also doesn't care about the payload on the Golden Dawn that it left with. He's interested in procuring and taking the dark matter crystals from the last giant batch coming off of Saturn's rings. And then we also need to, after Emily and Rachel leave the room, we need to put in a little snippet where Marcus says, put one of our special trackers on on Emily before she leaves. So we have a tracker that needs to be lost also, because that's the only reason he would let her leave alive. He would have killed her if he found out the information that he was after, but he's letting her go because he's still in search of what information and what Dr. Conrad has done that he doesn't know about, or any loose ends. Also, you need to have a glass of orange juice with exactly 4 ice cubes on his desk. And yes, when he does hit the display screen, it does display the things that they found on the encrypted hard drive. So Emily's right to recognize that information that they've already given over to the collective. All right, there we go. So now before I write it, quick check heavy. Is that BitBoy or is that a crew member? Oh my gosh. I'm not placing because the way you described it, Gas says something funny. First to clock what she is reads exactly like BitBoy's threat assessment system running into something they can't categorize, want to confirm before a draft. Also flagging what this changes structurally so you can confirm the shape before I write it. Sharon is no longer Specialist Crane. I never read that part. Embedded in the crew launch. That whole cover identity disappears. Yeah, get rid of it. That was stupid. The cargo bay voice scene becomes a signal bleed from the Alpha ship running close alongside. Cole hears her through the comms array, not physically aboard. Okay, that's fine. And then the boarding happens after the Saturn harvest when Alpha makes its move for the crystals. Yep. Okay. Yeah, you can get rid of Sharon being Specialist Crane and get rid of that whole cover identity disappears. Specialist Crane isn't a character. There are 5 people aboard the Golden Dawn, and there's never more, never less until the plot changes that. Yeah, the cargo bay voice scene can become a signal bleed from the Alpha ship running, or it can come out of Taylor's comm device, communication device. If that works in the plot. If not, that's fine too. And yeah, the boarding would happen after the Saturn harvest when Alpha comes to take the crystals. Confirm. Heavy equals BitBoy. The structure above is right. Chili Christmas. No, heavy does not equal BitBoy. Heavy hitter is Ricardo Corasan's nickname. I do appreciate it that BITBOYS is the one to do the threat assessment. That makes more sense. But then after he does the threat assessment, we should give Ricardo something funny to say. There we go. Let's go over here to debug so we can keep these kind of separate. I just saw a cron task run. I just saw a cron task run on here. You're supposed to stop all of those cron tasks, all of those keeper calls, everything immediately. Go. So it's going to think about this whole thing. And then I'll just say, write out all of the pros for these changes. Write out all of these changes and show them to me where they land in each chapter and the before and after. All right, so it's going to be working for a while there on stuff. Let's jump back here. Yeah, we might have gained a couple people in our space cult here joining us, but not many. Remember, what you do matters and who you are matters, and you have crazy, crazy value, inherent value in the fact that you exist and that you're sharing this crazy experience with all of us. And if you're part of Anti-Gravity Project, you're part of the best damn community in crypto, hands down. So here's to us. Love you guys. I'll see you on the next stream. Hopefully we can tackle these changes to all the stuff that we changed and go over those. And will probably be redeployed by the time I stream again. So we'll redeploy the smart contracts and go back to work testing the UI and finding bugs, finding things that don't make sense, finding things that are wrong, and we'll be that much closer to a snapshot, airdrop, and a hard launch of darker matter. So love you guys. Catch you in the next stream. Ciao.